Hey guys, welcome to another All Bass Creations effects tutorials, demos, and review. Today, we'll be going through the MXR Poly Blue Octave, which is one of my favorite octaves personally. It has a very nice synthy sound to it, and it'll be a great addition to anybody's pedal board. It's definitely a staple on mine. I use it for a ton of different songs or different compositions, or when I play for different artists, I use this one in the OC5 as well as my Hog 2. But let's get into the Poly Blue Octave with just my bass. Let's start with just my bass dry. And I have it EQ'd the way that I need it to trigger the monophonic mode properly. You want to have it more of a mid-rangey sound. So as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of low end at all. I actually wrote off the bass frequencies on my bass and used more of the high mids. Pushed the high mids on there and just kept the actually roll off the highs as well. So it's literally a frowny face if you were to look at it as an EQ on a graph. But here is, let's roll with the Poly Blue. This is it in monophonic mode. When that red light is lit on there, it's in monophonic mode, and this is going to get you that nice synth bass sound that you're probably looking for. Here we go. Start right there. So as you can see, it tracks very well. Very nice, warm, synthy tone. That's a great starting block for any synth bass sound right there. You can just start right there, and it's gonna sound good. It's got that. It sounds blue. It's got a nice compared to an OC5. Just give a quick comparison right off in the back. This is what a OC5 and OC pretty much a monophonic mode sounds like with just the octave up. Octave down. And then the Poly Blue. So it definitely has a nice, nice bottom to it. It's more hefty just naturally than the OC5 or the OC2 would be. Of course, if I boost my bass a little bit on the OC5, then it'll give you a little bit more. now this is the Poly Blue. So I love the Poly Blue. I literally use it as my synth bass sound now. Like that is my one of my go to synth bass sounds for sure. That and the Hog 2. I mean I use the OC5 as well. I use all three of those octavers a lot, but this one has a nice particular texture to it that I really really like. Of course, and let's just stop and admire this paint job on this bad boy. That paint job is crazy. That is the best paint job I've seen on any pedal. And I know I have my TC Electronic pedals down here. Not TC. I said TC Electronic. Electro harmonics. Pretty much is my electro harmonics board down here on the floor here. And these is my usual gigging pedals up top here. So that paint job on that joint is crazy. And mind you, it matches like the other ones in the MXR, that series, like the base envelope filter. I have one of those with the sparkle black paint. But this sparkle blue, this is my favorite color blue. So it just stands out and I gotta keep it clean because it looks so beautiful. Especially when it's sparkling and shining, it looks so good on your pedal board. So they get an A+ for that. And yeah, let's stop and explain some things real quick. There's also an expression jack out right here, so you can have either a foot switch, expression pedal that can go between settings. So it can be heel down to be one setting, then you can have another setting saved for heel up, and that'll be two different settings that you can have saved that you can morph between with an expression pedal, or you can engage a top tempo switch to switch between two different settings, or switch configurations to toggle the fuzz and the monos modes on and off. So you can have it so the external foot switch is tied to the mono and fuzz. So that's pretty cool. You got a lot of different options with things like that. And a small pedal, and mind you, this is a multi-effects pedal. You get not just an octaver, you get a fuzz, you get a phaser, and you get a Leslie effect. So Leslie is the big brown box that comes with organs, and it has a rotating speaker in it, a rotary speaker. So you get Leslie rotary speaker effect, whatever you want to call it, similar to a tremolo. It actually is somewhat of a tremolo effect, but it has a few other things on there when it's a Leslie effect. So, yeah, let's keep rolling. And speaking of the phaser, let's go ahead and check that out a bit. So as you can see, it definitely adds a nice flavor to the things. Let's get this back off of there, and let's go to the octave up in mono mode. So that's an octave up with the drive, but just the octave up by itself. It's got a very synthy like sound to it, you know, a bit of overdrive on that. With the two octaves up, so as you can see, you can get a lot of different tones out of this one little box already. We ain't even got deep into it. So let's try octave. Let's do two octaves down. Two octaves down. So just right off the break, you got a lot of bottom there, a lot of sub frequencies with that. Mind you, there's nothing else running right now. I'm gonna run it through a few other things as well. Um, like no preamp, no IRs, no nothing's running right now. So let's start mixing. I actually like that two octaves down. Let's try that with two octaves up. So yeah, you could. That's a nice synth sound. You can add a little phaser to that. Or you can mix that with one octave down. So you get right in that synth territory right there, you know, even without adding anything else. All you did was put a little bit of the phaser on. Well, put the phaser on slowly. If you ever want the modulation off, just turn it all the way to the left. You know, basically all the way off and all the way and to be off. And move it up a little bit if you want it to go slow. Yeah. And one octave up instead of two octaves up. That that's a that's a fire bass sound right there, boy. Like they killed it with this one. MXR, y'all definitely killed it with this giant and that analog filter. I had a little bit of that in a little bit, but yeah, y'all killed it with this one, especially for the synth bass sound type stuff. Octave up and an octave down. Well, let's do a dry and an octave down. So you could safely get down to about this A flat. Yeah, A flat. Get down to this low A flat and before it starts. But yeah, let's rock and roll. Uh so basically that's the mono side of things. You get a on the mono side you get a phaser, and on the polyphonic side it's a Leslie effect. So let's hear a little bit of this Leslie effect to start us off with the dry signal. It's a slow Leslie. So it is a nice Leslie effect. Turn that off for now. All right, octave, one octave down in polyphonic mode. They both sound different. All these voices sound different in poly and monophonic mode. It tracks all the way down in polyphonic mode, so that is amazing. Um, it is like a little slight delay, but nothing too crazy. It's doable. Two octaves down. Yeah, that's all right. Um, one octave up. So it tracks all the way down on the octave up as well, which is amazing. Always have some good tracking. Let's run through some different chord types and see if there's any hiccups. So that major seven is giving it a little problem, but if you place it up an octave above it, you can get through. 7 with a major third. I mean minor chord with a major 7. Okay. And 2 octaves up. Yeah, so the second octave isn't does a track as well. Second octave up. See a little bit with the dry signal. So I mean, you could get away with it hiding it in there. See, add a little Leslie effect. Let's turn up these octaves. And some Leslie. Nice organ sound. So that's pretty much that. Now you also have the fade. I mean the fuzz. You do have the phaser on the other monophonic side, but you also have the fuzz. And one thing to note about the fuzz on each setting, whether it be polyphonic or monophonic, is 2 different settings, and you can have 2 different volumes. So you just hold down the fuzz until it's blinking like that. Then you move the dry knob, and that'll change your volume of the fuzz effect. Now you can't change the intensity of it. I wish you could change the intensity of it, how much gain you have on it. Basically how fuzzy it gets. But they don't. You can't have everything in this little pedal. It's something this small and this simple. Is it gives you a ton of it gives you a lot of flexibility for an octave pedal. To be honest with you, just like a basic octave pedal without all the bells and whistles, you know, and because it's got all the bells and whistles, which is crazy. So let's turn that Leslie effect off. And of course, you can add things like the. See, let's do 2 octaves. Add a little bit of 2 octaves down as well. But still have the Leslie sound there too. mono mode, in monophonic mode, you got so let's turn all these off. You know, you gotta just go with an octave down with that, with the fuzz. Now, if you add a little tone shaping to this type of stuff, I'm gonna kick in this Magellan preamp, add some body to it. Well, matter of fact, no, let's do the ampeg. We'll do the ampeg SGT on it. Right? Then you add a little SGT circuit on the B15 side. Adding some spectral comp for compression. Now we're gonna add this MXR filter and the Rojo roller on the MS50G, right? So it's just a vibrato so pretty much it's a vibrato that has a pre-delay, so it doesn't kick on right away. It allows you to have the note cleanly, and then it adds some vibrato. As you can see there. So that with the MXR bass envelope filter, keeping that MXR sound. So you're already in that sim territory, really, even with just the, let me see, even with just the MXR and the bass, just the MXR pedals, right? We're going to do just the two MXR pedals, the poly blue and the bass envelope and filter, which is the analog filter. So we're going to do just those two, and you're going to see you could just do a whole sim sound just with that. synth all day. If you want more definition in the notes, you can add an octave up. So, you know, adding that SDT preamp back on. Run that through the Aguilar 410s with a tweeter. IR, that's running the RE20 and the SM57 mic in the same cabinet, and running that through a pre 173, which is a Neve clone. All this is on the B6, so I'm using the B6 to run the IR and the pre 1073 with no EQ on it. Everything's flat. It's just the gain set to 25, volume set to 100. That's all. Just a little coloring on it. But here we go. Alright, so we're going to take this fuzz off of here, right? And with everything else still on there, it's good. So as you can see, just adding a few effects. So we just added that MXR filter. If you happen to have, you know, some older Zoom stuff, let me see. You could take something like a bit crusher, and that same setting on the poly blue right there, and you got you a nice synth sound as well. that's actually my bit crusher on my MS60B. It's the same bit crusher that's on the MS50G. It's on the Zoom B3 as well. I love this bit crusher. You can use it for everything. But then I like to take that with the M filter, which is a Moog style filter in the MS60B. That's why I love this little unit. And this is another one of my favorite filter effects, you know. But here's the M filter. Just massive bass sounds with this joint. Crazy. Crazy. Add a little tremolo to that effect at the end of it. You know. And I actually got this little basically bit crusher Moog synth into tremolo. I actually got that from Yannick Guasdala. He's one of my favorites on YouTube as well. But I was watching this stuff before YouTube. But he's one of my favorite effects guys on YouTube. Him and Bill Rupert from Electro Harmonics. He's another guy that's crazy with the effects. You know, some guys I just like to hear what they're doing, and they always give me good inspiration. But yeah, you can use this kind of like Yannick's setup. If you got an MS60B, you can kind of cheat Yannick's setup a little with a tremolo. So the tremolo effect. So you'll have the bit crusher running into the M filter into the tremolo. And I'll give you out my settings real quick in the MS60B. This is on MS60B or MS50G or Zoom B3. These effects are available. So it's set to the bit is set to 8, so it's an 8-bit crusher, and the SMPL is set to 33. The balance is set to 21. The tone is set to 8, and the level is on 100, and that's for the bit crusher. The M style filter, the frequency is 56. The sense is 5. The resonance is 7. The type is low pass filter, LPF. Character is 2-pole, and velocity is set to fast. Balance is 70, and the level is 100. And on the tremolo, the depth is set to 80. The rate is set to 40. Level is set to 100, and the wave is a triangle 1. So here we go. swap out that filter for the MXR bass envelope filter. So basically I have the poly blue running into the bit crusher, running into the tremolo, and then that's going to run into the bass envelope filter, the MXR bass envelope filter, analog bit filter, and then that's going to run into the Rojo molar, which is a vibrato with a pre-delay on it. So here we go. And then that's running into the ampeg SGT, right? Then you're running that into the TC electronic spectrocom. So basically, I got Octave, bit crusher, Octave bit crusher modulation, and then filter, then another modulation, which is the Rojo molar, the vibrato, and then into an preamp and ampeg SGT DI into a multi-band compressor, TC electronic spectrocom, running into an Aguilar 410 IR, and then running into a pre 1073, which is a Neve mic preamp emulation on the B6. So yeah, sometimes it'd be a long signal path like that, but trust me, once you have these pieces, you don't really even have to do too much. Like, you could really get the poly blue and the MS60B, and then run a preamp off of there, or run a compressor off of there. You don't have to have a preamp after this stuff, but you know, you can run a compressor on there too. They got the 160 compressor on there. So if you got a poly blue and an MS60B, you pretty much got a killing synth rig right there. Plus the synth sounds. There's synth sounds you can run the poly blue into the MS60B as well, or Zoom stuff in general. The Zoom bass stuff has these bass synths on them you can run that into. So here we go. Almost gives you like a ring modulator effect type thing. And actually, you can add a ring mod to this. You know, let me where the ring mod at. It's got a ring modulator in here as well. But yeah, I prefer the Big Crusher. It's a lot more versatile than the ring modulator. I use the Big Crusher in place of distortion, so you could have a distortion right there instead of a Big Crusher if you wanted to. I just prefer to have, you know, you can have just overdrive, distortion, or a fuzz right there instead. It's going to similar effect. You just want it to be before the filter, so the filter can grab all that distortion stuff when it's sweeping, and really give you that gritty sweeping sound. Without the Bit Crusher. got plenty of options with this joint. That's why I like this poly blue, because you got a ton of different options you can use with it, and it just sounds good. Um, if you happen to have something like a freeze pedal, here's another little trick you can do. So I got a freeze pedal running into the poly blue, so it'll be able to sustain notes and do different things like that. And it'll just hold it. You can manipulate the sound, turn the effects on and off. You can bring in different voices. So being able to add these different aspects of things to it definitely makes it way more flexible of a unit. Just having something like that was a deep freeze. I was running into that the Pico deep freeze, which allowed me to do those infinite sustains, and I have it in auto mode and all that. I do a review on that next, but yeah, it definitely stands. It's its own thing. I wouldn't, I know I'm gonna get the question. Does it replace the OC2 and all? Listen, it's its own sound. Like all these different units are their own sound. So, um, I just say, man, collect them all like Pokemon. I mean, as many of them as you could get. That ain't gonna kill your pockets. You know what I'm saying? If you had to pick one, you know, you gotta just pick which one you like. That blue sound more of that octave. Let me see. We take this stuff off so you can hear it by itself one more time. OC2 setting on the OC5 compared to the poly blue. I'm gonna compare the polyphonic modes real quick, just the octave down. So this is the poly blue in polyphonic mode on one octave down compared to the OC5 in polyphonic mode one octave down. So definitely, these two are kind of like, so the with the poly blue in polyphonic mode, your EQ, you're gonna need to boost the bass. Like you run it pretty much like your regular bass sound with a little more mids. But in monophonic mode, in order for the track well and sound good, in my opinion, you're gonna want to cut those lows, boost the mids, and cut the highs. On a OC5, just as a tip, it's kind of the opposite. On the monophonic mode, you want to boost the lows, and on the polyphonic mode, you want to cut the lows. So, there's just a little difference between the two. But yeah, that's a little comparison between the two, so you got a general understanding. I would compare the poly blues, polyphonic octave down to like the TC electronic sub harmonic, subbing up. That's what it sounds like to me, similar to that. While the OC5 in polyphonic mode has more of just a synth bass. I actually love the way that sounds. Like I actually use that a lot as a synth sound in the OC5 in polyphonic mode, one octave down. So, but yeah, this has been another All Bass Creations Effects tutorial, demo, and review of the Poly Blue Octave by MXR. It's definitely worth checking out. It's definitely getting my stamp of approval. It's made it onto my pedal board. I hope to hear it on some of y'all's because it's amazing. I would love to see what some of you guys can do with it. Just adding some different sounds, trying out different things, different modulations, different distortions. Distortion ain't really gonna make too much of this. Just get an overdrive or distortion. It ain't gonna make that big of a difference. If you want to make a huge difference in the sound, definitely go for bit crusher versus distortion. They both have those two versus each other at a completely different textures. And the filter is going to make a huge difference in the sound as well. So the distortion or bit crusher versus the filter, and which type of filter, M filter or analog bass filter, whatever you go with. Then you can add like some tremolo, chorus, flanger, all that good stuff, phaser, Leslie effect, and don't forget to then take that sound, shape it with a preamp or something, and compress it. And if you're feeling froggy, you can throw on an IR, and then bam, you in business. Like you really in business. Then you got a complete signal chain that'll hold up for you. So some people might say put the compressor before the octave, but I personally, with my bass has enough power where it kicks through the way I want it to. So, but I appreciate you guys hanging with me, man. For another All Bass Creations Effects tutorials, demos, and review. I am the Bass Negus, Negus. You can find me there on all social media. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Go to allbasscreations.bandcamp and find all my music, download it. You can also find it on any of the streaming services out there. It's on all that stuff, Spotify, all that good stuff. So, also go to famemusic.org, FAME music.org, and donate. That is a after school program for music for kids, and I'm actually one of the teachers with them. But we help students with everything from mentoring to tutoring to private music lessons, band. They travel. We take them to different colleges like Berkeley College of Music, my alma mater. We got kids going to Juilliard and all these other schools, on great scholarships. So we help them get scholarships and help them, you know, just overall make sure that the entire student is taken care of, not just the music. Sometimes we get caught up on just the music, but life is more than just music. And you need to experience life in order to properly do music, and you need to experience the good times and happy times in life, and we help out with that, whether it be with the tutoring so they're not stressed out there, or, just simple mentorship. Some kids just need a big brother type figure. They got the music, they got the grades, but they ain't really got, all the extra stuff, that a somebody like a father figure or a big brother would provide. So, we try to help out with all of that stuff. So make sure you go to famemusic.org and donate. And if you got any kids in the Maryland, DMV area, we auditioning kids for the program. They all need to audition to get in, and we'll go from there. So definitely check us out when you get a chance. And I'm out. Peace.